Now, the Duval Rundown, driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, home of the lifetime warranty.
Good morning. Welcome to Duval Rundown. We apologize for the delay, but we are back ready to talk Jaguars football. Times Union sports columnist Brian O'Halloran, kind enough to join us as always on Wednesday. He was out in Santa Clara for that big Jaguars win, wrote a fantastic column, which you can find on Jacksonville.com. Ryan, good morning. What was it like going out there and seeing the Jags get a 26-21 victory?
Well, it's still a long ways out there. But I think that was the first West Coast Jaguars win I'd ever covered between 2012 to 17 and then obviously this year. So it was one of those games where the Jaguars probably felt they were in control. I didn't feel that way. I was saying, when's San Francisco going to create a turnover of their own? When are they going to get, McCaffrey to make a huge play? They got within one possession there, but the Jaguars, to their credit, for the third game out of four, closed out the game with a defensive takeaway.
It really is remarkable, and that's sort of going to be our main topic today, is the takeaways. I mean, honestly, they're 3-1, and they're arguably the best story so far in the NFL. And the takeaways are magnificent. I mean, they lead the league by 3 in terms of that category. I mean, what they're doing is just extraordinary. But is it sustainable? How much of this is the real deal where you think this is going to be who they are? Obviously, the pace is historic. But where do you see it falling between this is a spurt of good play through 4 games versus they're going to be able to be this kind of defense for the entire season?
I mean, every week I say, well, they can't get 3 again.
Right.
Well, they have. They got 3, 3, 3, 4. So a couple of things playing in there. A couple to answer your question is, can they end the season averaging 2.5? Well, that gives them close to 40. That's a lot. If they can average 2 a game, that gives them 34 compared to 9 last year. So I think if they continue to play in the lead with the pass rush and having to rush 4 and still create pressure, that will play into interceptions like Devin Lloyd in the middle of the field. Basin Smith getting a tip on that. I think the key out of this San Francisco game is the offense started to capitalize on these takeaways. They scored 17 points off the first 3. The fourth one helped them seal the game. Because right now this team, you look at the plus-minus turnover differential, they should be 4-0. They shouldn't have played a one-possession game. Well, it turns out they played 3 of them. So the defense, I think, is doing a lot of good things. As we get to this first quarter poll, the offense, I think, is another story.
And that's the thing, and I don't know if Liam said it to you Sunday in postgame or if it was maybe in the Monday Zoom, but he made a comment that really resonated with me in terms of offensive frustration. And they're running the ball great. So when we say offensive frustration, more the aerial attack, he said something to the effect of, we should have had 40 on the scoreboard.
Yeah. And that goes to their red zone. They have not been good enough. I'm writing a column for Thursday's paper, 5 stats of note that are working, 5 stats that aren't working. They're not very good on third down offensively. They're not producing a lot of big plays in the passing game. And they're 21st in red zone at 8 of 16 for 50%. Okay, that's called good trouble. When you're winning, you have stuff to fix.
Right.
But the one that stands out to me, Trevor Lawrence's completion percentage is under 60%. I mean, this is
59%.
This is the NFL in 2025. You have to be completing 65% of your passes, at minimum. So, and it'd be one thing if he was throwing the ball downfield a lot. So, as I go into this game Monday night, we'll get to the Chiefs in a second. The offense, and I think Liam Cohen has mentioned this, is they are cheating fate with penalties and they are cheating fate with turnover differential. It's going to even out eventually. So offensively they should use this extra day to really hone in.
One thing that I like about the takeaways so far is that it is coming from a variety of sources. I mean, it seems like everybody is having a hand in this. And to me, that does lead to it, being contagious and being something that they can continue to do at a high level. I don't know about leading the NFL, but do it at a high level. I mean, you look at obviously Devin Lloyd has honestly, if this kept up, he'd win Defensive Player of the Year. But tied for the league in interceptions with 3. He also has a fumble recovery, but when you look at it, other than Devin Lloyd, Jordan Lewis with 2 picks, Eric Murray's got a pick, Foye Oluwakon's got a pick, Dewey Wingard's got a pick, Foye's forced a couple of fumbles, Tyson Campbell's forced a fumble, Gardeck's forced a fumble, Eric Armstead's forced a fumble. Seems like a lot of guys on defense are contributing, obviously, and then you bring up the guys that don't necessarily have the turnover in their stat sheet, but we know they're the ones that help make it happen. Mason Smith with a deflection, Josh Hines-Allen on a deflection of a Stroud pass to wrap up the Houston win, Antonio Johnson with the pick on that one. So it seems like everybody is playing a role in this, and that's what gives me some confidence that while it may not continue at this high a level, it will continue at a pretty high level.
Yeah, and one thing I'll mention about those fumbles is these guys are around the football. So it means they're in pursuit. One guy makes the strip, the other guy picks it up. And so, opponents have 5 fumbles. The Jaguars have recovered 4 of them. I can guarantee that percentage will not keep up this year. But maybe I'll be wrong. Yeah. So I think what you see is a defense that is opportunistic in terms of they're not dropping interception opportunities, and they're recovering the fumbles that are available.
You referenced this earlier in talking about Trevor Lawrence, and I do think it's something that needs to go ahead and be discussed. He's doing a fine job with the operation. It seems like with the checks, he's doing a good job there. They're second in the league in sacks allowed percentage. They're first in the league. They lead the league. And in sacks allowed when you look at the percentage. So, obviously deserve it. Okay. You with me?
I am now. You're cutting in and out.
Ryan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can hear you too. So in terms of looking at Trevor's play, I mean, if you had told me before the Carolina game that through 4 games, that you mentioned the completion percentage, but also just 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, passer rating of 75.2, I think he's doing a good job of the command, but it's not very accurate.
Yeah. And it's not good. I mean, you got to, if you're a Jaguar fan, you hope those conversations are happening behind closed doors. Some of the throws against San Francisco, his footwork appeared to be a mess. And when you do that, you're throwing wide, you're throwing high. He should have had a couple of those passes intercepted by Fred Warner off deflections. I mean, okay, now you go back. And this is a question we always asked each other back in the day at the Times Union. What can they hang their hat on? What can they do well that they can then build a foundation? On offense right now, it's the run game. It's Brenton Strange, but okay, what are you going to get from the quarterback? He can throw the short stuff well, but there has to be a level of concern there that this offense is gaining a lot of yards, top 10, but aren't in the top half in points scored.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now you bring in a matchup that is obviously a mismatch in terms of the quarterback matchup, because you're playing arguably the best guy to ever do it, or certainly in the conversation of that, in Patrick Mahomes. And that's what concerns me about Monday night's game is the Chiefs have only given the ball up 1 time this year. For all their struggles early and their key injuries, they only have committed 1 turnover. So I don't think they're going to show up Monday night and give the ball up 3 times. Yeah. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have to play better. And I'm not saying he can't, but now I think it's time, as you go into the 5th game, you need to see his execution hit a higher level.
And you're going to hear this hogwash on the national broadcast or throughout the week. Well, it usually takes until the 2nd year in a guy's system. I don't care about that. If you feel like it's not getting there, then you change it up in terms of your what you're giving him. Do you concentrate on only the plays that are really going well? So when you go against Mahomes, you say, okay, you got to score 30 because they're starting to gain some momentum. They crunched the Ravens 37-20. And Lamar went out of that game. But Steve Spagnuolo is probably, to me, he's the second best defensive coordinator in the league behind Vic Fangio. He mixes up his pressures. He's going to give Trevor Lawrence and then running backs a lot to think of in terms of who's rushing. It's time for Brian Thomas to start showing up. It's time for them to get Travis Hunter involved down the field. And it's time to complete some downfield passes because this offense right now is being carried by its defense.
Yeah, without a doubt. Before we continue, let's hear from our sponsor.
I'm Rick Ballou, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jaguars. Drive with confidence. Every new vehicle comes with our exclusive lifetime warranty. 7030 Commonwealth Avenue or online at jackswest.com.
So do you think they'll be able to move the ball on the ground against Kansas City?
I think so. The Chiefs are allowing 4.9 per carry, 4 touchdowns. So, I'd identify where number 95, Chris Jones is, this guy doesn't just play a couple snaps a game. He's going hard when he's in the game and he's going to make a difference. whoever would have passed that narrative off
who could possibly think that?
Well, they're not working in the league this year.
Yeah, they're not in the building anymore.
Yeah, they're not in the building anymore. But Jones, every lineman on the Jaguars is going to get a shot at Chris Jones. That's how much they move around. Last week they played a spy on Lamar Jackson. They obviously don't need to do that with Lawrence. But one thing that Lawrence said after the game on Sunday, he said he should have ran more than he did. Okay, is that where his comfort level is? If you have the green light, go get the first down. Take a short profit. Make it 2nd and 6 instead of 2nd and 10. So maybe that's an element of the game if the Chiefs play some man coverage. But if you're the Chiefs defense right now, who scares you besides ETN in the run game? Drop a safety in the box, dare Trevor Lawrence to see if he can beat you over the top.
Without a doubt. I'm also really intrigued to see how LaQuinn Allen fares in this matchup for what you alluded to earlier. Spagnuolo is going to send things that are incredibly exotic and creative, and we just know that. It's remarkable what he's been able to do in Kansas City. So big, if LaQuinn Allen can handle Monday night without looking foolish, I think the Jaguars have a really good player anyway, but boy, talk about a litmus test. If LaQuinn Allen can handle the third down responsibilities without much of a problem Monday night, to me, that'll almost be the ultimate test for what a brilliant find that was in the 7th round.
Yeah, and the key for this Jaguar offense and pass protection is one thing Spags likes to do is see if he can get 6 rushers against your 5 men. See if he can get 7 against your 6. And if you're LaQuinn Allen, you got 2 unblocked. If you got 2 blitzers coming away, you pick the right guy, which is usually the one coming up the middle. So, but I will say Travis Etienne had a great blitz pickup Sunday on Fred Warner that led to a positive play for the Jaguars. So, whoever's at running back. But here's the, do you want to see Allen a little bit more with the ball in his hands? Do you want to see a little more ball in his hands, or do you continue riding a hot hand with Etienne? So, one thing they got some options at running back, and that's why they're able to ground it out so much.
Let's look at the Jaguar defense in this matchup, and we'll start with Trayvon Walker. What's your gut feeling on his wrist injury? And if they don't have him, what kind of a loss is that?
We're talking Wednesday. The game's Monday. Those, depending on the wrist injury, you're you're a defensive lineman. You need those hands free to be able to punch and grab. And so I'd be a little surprised, just give them the week. You got a long season ahead of you. Okay, that would probably mean both of your rookie edge guys are active. Strigo and then Green was the other day, played only 2 snaps. But Agba, the onus.
I've never faced anything like this, Mahomes said.
Who are these guys? How are they not drafted in the first round? Agba will get a chance. Maybe you move Dewan Smoot outside to give you some depth options at the edge spot. So, but this is a big Josh Hines Allen game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Before we get out of here, Ryan, you don't necessarily have to give us a pick. Obviously, the game is still several days away. But what are your early feelings on whether the Jaguars can pull the upset Monday night at home?
Well, it would be an upset, and my lean right now is the Chiefs because I just think offensively they have more answers than the Jaguars offense, and but Patrick Mahomes has been forced into some turnovers in his career, so can they pressure him? They got Marquise Hollywood Brown is averaging only 9.5 yards per catch, so okay, can you limit him a little bit? So, I mean, I'll probably pick the Chiefs in a close one.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to as well. I just, but if the Jaguars, I will say, if they can get this one, it would be remarkable and a heck of a start and a great environment Monday night. That's going to be electric in that building for sure. I did want to mention the Saleh thing broke after we did Duval Rundown last week. Just now that it's there's kind of a bow on it. What'd you make of the story?
Well, there were a couple of us who thought it was the juiciest story of the week. Present company included. So, I mean, we jumped on this right away. And to me, my real quick take is it was on Saleh's part. The comments last Thursday were clumsy. They were arrogant. And then he doubled down and tripled down. Okay, put your foot in your mouth. Shanahan didn't help things himself. And then he goes Sunday, and Saleh, you sort of figured he was going to try and approach Cohen. Cohen wasn't having any of that. So Saleh said yesterday that it was poor his words were like poorly chosen. Really? You think? So, but that locker room after the game on Sunday was pretty fired up for their head man. You could hear it through the walls, and then when you got in there, because they felt that their guys' integrity and professionalism and character was questioned, and they answered that on the field.
Yeah, it's definitely a team with an edge, and I give Liam Cohen a ton of credit. I mean, he's been brilliant so far. Is the Jaguars head coach, definitely breathed some new life into this thing and created that edge. What do you have? You mentioned one story that we should look forward to, but tell us again what to look forward to in the Times Union and Jacksonville.com this week from you.
Yeah, just fill in a day. We have an extra day here. So for Thursday's paper, just sort of 5 areas that are working, 5 areas that need work, sort of a quarter poll. Got Florida State, Miami this weekend. So that'll be in Friday's paper. I will not mention the Gators in that column.
Thank you. As Texas hangs 51-10 on the Fighting Billy Napiers. I think we lost signal. That's going to do it for us. I appreciate you watching Duval Rundown. For Ryan O'Halloran, we're starting to fade out.
Okay.
So I've taken up too much of your time already. But sorry for the late start.
If you just made a joke, I couldn't hear it. So I'll just laugh. That's a good one. I did,
but it's fine. But anyway, thanks for watching Duval Rundown. We will be back on Friday as we continue to preview Jaguars Chiefs. Thanks for watching. Take care.